All right, check it out. You might remember this video. A 25-year-old mother walking into the school, and witnesses say that she beat up her 6-year-old son's teacher. The child told his mom that the teacher hurt him, but the day after the attack, the child changed his story. Jackson County prosecutors have charged the mom, Simone Baker, with assault. But this brings up the topic of the relationship between students and parents and how it is changing over time. Andrea Flinders, who's president of the Kansas City American Federation of Teachers, joins us now. You know all about this story. What was your first reaction to it?
It's interesting because I wasn't totally surprised. I think we've seen a rise in violence against teachers, not only from students but also from parents.
So what's happening with the parents? I mean, attacking? You're talking about physical violence from parents against teachers.
Yeah, I think it has to do, it is a complicated picture, but it has to do a lot with the community in which they live in. I think it has a lot of social factors are part of this problem.
Well, I mean, let's talk about it. I mean, what is causing and prompting parents to lash out physically against their children's teacher?
Sometimes they just don't understand or they believe what their child says before they actually find out what really did happen. And I think they jump to conclusions and think that the teacher has somehow mistreated their child and they're angry. And I understand being angry if you think someone's mistreated your child, but I also, you know, sometimes our parents don't know the proper process for how do we resolve this issue.
So what should they do? I mean, how should you react? The child comes home, there's a mark on his neck, as I understand.
Yeah.
He says one story. I mean, what should parents do, just this child and others?
Well, I think the first step is you contact the principal and say, okay, my child has come home and has told me this story, and I want to get to the bottom of it. And I think you start with the leadership in the building and have that meeting. And usually the teacher will be brought in, and there can be a good discussion about what did happen.
So what about students attacking teachers?
Well, that is probably more prevalent than anyone knows. And it's not always physical assaults, but it's also the verbal attacks. I don't think there's probably a secondary teacher in the district that hasn't in some way been cursed out by a student. We're seeing a lot more of that kind of behavior. And unfortunately, it's not always addressed very well at the school site.
All right, so how can teachers prepare for this? I mean, if they know that parents are maybe going to be physically abusive and students maybe verbally and physically assault them, how do parents or teachers rather prepare for this?
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with training and learning strategies for coping with angry parents. You know, unfortunately, a lot of our very first year new teachers come into our district and they're not prepared because the college prep programs have not talked to them about how to deal with an angry parent, an angry student. But as you get more experience, you start to learn that there are strategies you can use so that when you have an angry parent, you can stay calm, you can talk to that parent through that, and that's usually pretty effective. All
right, so teachers definitely have their work cut out for them, but hopefully a good relationship will really improve learning for that child as well as all the children in the classroom.
Yeah,
all right, Andrea, thanks so much for being here. It's a tough situation, but you know, teachers are there for us and we appreciate them.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here.